standing, and today's class is going to be mindfulness based. Hold on, I need to move over there, didn't I? So come to lift and roll the shoulders. Lift your toes and then place the toes down again. Breathing in, turn your head to the left, and breathing out, turn the head to the right. Into the left and out to the right. And then come back to the centre. Bring the hands together at the heart centre and soften your knees as you circle your arms up. Clasp and reverse the hands, stretching up. You can look forward or you can look up, your choice. And then a lateral stretch, the hands go to the left. That can be static or it can be bouncing in and out. Breathing in, stretching up. Again, you can look forward or up. Breathing out, hands go to the right. Stretching away from your left side, stretching out your left side. Breathing in, hands go up. Turn to the left. Come to the centre and turn to the right. Come to the centre. Breathing in, just lift your heels. See how the balance is today. And then breathing out, lower the heels and lower the hands to shoulder height. Breathing in, turn the head to the left, look beyond the fingers of the left hand. Come back to the centre with the head and breathing out, turn the head to the right. Look beyond the third finger of the right hand. Come back to the centre and lower the arms. Lift and roll the shoulders. And place the hands on the waist. Breathing out, just soften the knees. You can tummy in, slightly come forward. You can bend your knees as little or as much as you would like. And then breathing in, press the feet into the ground and come back up to standing. Breathing in, lift and roll the shoulders and clasp the hands behind you. Aim the knuckles to the ground. Lift the hands away a little bit. If you want to be even more correct, you would have your palms together, which would restrict your lift. But again, that's your choice. And then turn to the left, your hands are a little bit away from you. Come to the centre and turn very gently to the right. And come to the centre. Feet hip width apart a little bit, or comfortably apart. And soften the knees, come forward, but lead with the chest. And then if you can drop your head and hands up above you, shoulders away from the ears, press the feet down, release the hands back, release the fingers and lift and roll the shoulders back. And then hands up, looking forward or up, and breathing out, hands back, down, lift and roll the shoulders. Just touch the fingers to the shoulder collarbones, and then just breathing in, circle the elbows forward. The aim would be for the elbows to touch one another, but wherever works for you. And then reverse, so the elbows come together and you lift up and back. And then just release, lift and roll the shoulders. And then slide the hands down the shins, and we'll come to a half lift, lengthening from the spine. Breathing out, soften the knees and soften the elbows, curl in. Breathing in, lengthening from the spine. And breathing out, stay here. And then when you're ready, press the feet into the ground and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Breathing in, raising the hands up, stretch the fingers, and then just circle the wrists down. And then opening and closing the fingers. And then palms together. I can't explain this, but your fingers go away from you, open out, your hands open out, backs of the hands together, and just rolling around the backs of the hands and across the wrists. And then reverse if that works for you, but if you can't, if it does your mind in, then don't worry. And then just open and close the hands, and then the fingers just pulling and just shake. And then the other thumb, second finger, long fingers, little finger, and then just shake. Lift and roll the shoulders. And another round, so raise the arms up, clasp and reverse, stretch up. Look up if that works for your neck. And then lateral again. Come to the centre, stretch up. And to the other side. Stretch up. Your rotation as you turn to the left. Come to the centre. And rotation as you turn to the other side. And then come to the centre. And then just lower the hands. Feet are perhaps hip width apart or wider. And begin to bend so that you bring your palms face down, palms down to the floor. Once you're down, you can straighten your legs if that's available to you. And turn to the left so that your palms are over your left foot. You're relaxing your head. Come to the centre and then turn to go over your right foot. And then come back to the centre. Place your palms on the ground, and your feet might like to be wider, and bend down again. Now, how far you bend is up to you. A little bit, or you can come right down into a squat to open out the lower back. But just be comfortable, don't be straining. And then engage your perineum upwards a little bit, and you're towards the spine. Now, as you press your fingers down, palms onto the ground to come up, still your forward, and then hold the backs of your legs, the backs of your ankles, and then begin to straighten your legs as you're coming forward. And then soften the knees, press the feet into the ground, and start to roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Take your time. Once you're up, just lift and roll your shoulders. And then are flying. So breathing in as you raise your wings and breathing out. So very much a Tai Chi movement and very much moving all the joints in the body. Perhaps that's an exaggeration, the majority of the joints in the body. But again, make the next one the last one. And come to just gently place the hands at the navel, just tuning into the breath. Breathing in to the count of 5. Breathing out to the count of 5. And just take a couple of breaths like that in your own time. If 5 is too much for you, then drop it to 4 or 3. And then very gently release the hands, and we're going to come down to a seated position on the mat. So starting by having the feet out in front of us. If you need to lift the flesh out from under your bottom, please do so. And then hands to either side of you. As you bounce the legs, big toes, no that's not right, big toe joints just come together. That vibration that sets up in your body. And then toes up and toes away a few times, breathing in as the toes go up to the ceiling and breathing out as the toes go away. And just a couple of times. And then just start to circle the ankles in one direction. And then circle the ankles in the opposite direction. Stretch your toes out. And then I wouldn't say curl them in, but curl them in as long as you don't get cramp. Stretch them out and just curl them in. Just doing the same as you did with your hands, just boosting your circulation a little bit within the feet. And then just bounce your legs again and either pat or rub the legs, rub the arms, whatever works for you. And just enjoy that dry skin brushing effect. And then gently bend the knees up and come to a cross-legged position. Hold your knees and just start to sway slightly from side to side. Just come to sway, extending your body to the point where you're almost going to fall over to your edge, in other words, and then just come back. Lengthen, chin comes in, and then just come back to that swaying, however works for you. And then come to the centre and cat-cow, but a seated cat-cow. So lifting, lengthening the body, breathing out, chin comes to the chest. Breathing in, lengthening the body, and breathing out, chin to chest. And just do that a couple of times to your own breath pattern. And then when you're ready, come back to the centre. Release your hands, and we're going to come onto our hands and knees into a tabletop position. And we're going to repeat that cat-cow movement, but in the traditional sense, on our hands and knees. So knees are hip-width apart, hands are shoulder-width apart. Just sway your bottom from side to side to start with. And then breathing in, dipping your back, looking either up or along the mat, and breathing out, rounding your back. Your chin comes to your chest. And just do that a couple more times. And then if you're not a fan of downward dog, just again, carry on with your cat-cow movement. But for anybody who wants to join you doing downward dog, tuck your toes and come into your downward dog, lengthening the spine, then lengthening the legs. feel, you can adjust your feet to wider or closer to your hands. Walk the dog a couple of times. Both feet back. Then come onto the balls of the feet and lift the heels. Soften the knees. And come back to downward dog. And once more, lift your heels up. Soften the knees and then come back to downward dog. Stretching both legs out and then bend both knees back down to the earth. And come to bring your hands to the left and your right foot comes up. Hands now either side of your right foot. Your fingertips should be parallel to your feet and just stretch forward. You can come up onto the fingertips to keep the pose light. That's an option. Looking ahead, just take a couple of breaths, stretching out the right hip. And then just come back with your knee to, we're going to kneel up. So you might, for balance, like to have your right foot slightly to the right. You might like padding under your left knee and to kneel up. And today's a new moon in, I think, Aquarius? Oh, I've lost it. Aquarius. So this is a moon pose, so just open your palms and look ahead. If your balance will take it, look with your eyes slightly up. Bring your head to the centre and breathing in, raise your hands up. You can stretch into your front knee as long as there's no strain on it, and either looking ahead or looking up. So it's like a crescent moon pose. If you like, you can bring your thumbs together to support brace your arms and just looking up. And then breathing out, lower the hands and bring your left hand to your tummy and your right hand to the back of the waist, lengthen the body, and then just turn to look over your right shoulder. Taking an in and an out breath. While you're there, turn your head to the left and then turn it back to the right. Bring the head to the centre, release the hands, and hands go back to either side of the right foot. Slide your right foot back and come to a moment resting in child's pose. You can have your feet tucked under or feet flat, bottom towards the heels, and your hands can either stretch out in front of you or in like a more classic Balasana, which is palms upwards. And if you like Balasana, but your head's not touching the ground or you feel you're a bit hanging, you can use your hands as fists just to rest your forehead. Feel that you're breathing, your breath is connecting to your kidneys. And even here in relaxation, you can engage your perineum slightly in towards the spine and then release it as you breathe out. And then very gently come back to all fours in tabletop position. Just sway your bottom from side to side. And then very gently move the hands to the right, where you bring your left foot up. Hands to either side of your left foot now. Your fingertips are parallel to the tops of your feet. And just stretch into your left hip now. You can come onto your fingertips to lengthen your spine and keep the weight away from the ground. You can look ahead, but only if that works for you. And then just bring your knee back to that 90-degree angle. Feel that you can move your left foot out to the edge of the mat if you need balance. And if you want extra balance and your feet can cope with it, you can tuck your right toes under. And then kneeling up high, opening the palms, looking forwards or up. Bring the head to the centre and circle the arms upwards, either palms apart, touching, or thumbs together, looking again forward or upwards. You're almost arcing back into your crescent moon. Your inner thighs are away from one another. Your outer thighs are coming in towards each other. And then bring your head to the centre. Lower the arms and then place your right hand on your tummy, your left hand to your back, and just turn to the left, looking over your left shoulder. Turn your head back to the right, and then just turn the head to the left again. And is that too much? And then come forward with your hands to either side of your left foot. Slide your left foot back. And then come to puppy pose. Feet tucked under or feet flat, bottom in the air, and just slide your hands forward. Opening up the upper back. And then slide your hands back. Tuck your toes, and we're going to come to standing. So come to standing, however that works. I'm going to just lift up and then bring the hands to the feet to the hands, soften the knees, and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And lift and roll the shoulders. And come to face the long side of the mat, stepping out of a wide 3-foot bend. Just bring the hands up, turn the left foot in and right foot out. And then just warrior 2, just dropping the weight centrally, looking over the front right hand, checking that you're dropping your weight centrally, not putting weight onto your front leg too much. So does it feel that someone's holding your back left hand and just pulling you back slightly? And then making sure that your knee isn't coming inwards, that the knee is facing towards the big toe and second toe. Drop the left hand, raise the right hand, look at the right thumb, reverse warrior. And breathing out, come back to warrior. Drop the hands, turn your right foot in, lift and roll your shoulders. Place the hands on the waist and turn your left foot in, your right foot out. If you drew a line, your front narrow left heel should intersect with the middle of the back of your right arch. But that's the aim anyway. Hands out, soften into warrior 2.
I'm completely the other way around, never mind.
Whatever works for you. And looking over the fingers of the hands. Feel again, someone's holding your right hand and just pulling you back. It takes the weight off the front leg. Of course, I'm only partially doing this. If you had your feet wider and drop down further, your thigh should be parallel to the ground. I can see mine isn't anywhere near. But anyway, and then just drop the right hand to the right, lift up the left arm and look to your left thumb. You can straighten your leg a little bit. And then lower the hands, turn your left toes in, hands on waist, elbows back to lift the chest, and then head upright, soften the knees, and slide the hands down the fronts of the legs to either anywhere on your ankles or your big toes. Bend the elbows to pull your back forward, bending the elbows out and release the head down to the ground. Feel the stretch on the inside of your thighs, your inner thighs. Feel that you're pulling your back forward, lengthening along from the chest, and then just releasing downwards. So that and you can wiggle from side to side as well, if that works for you. And then just soften the knees, place the hands on the ground, heel toe the feet in, so heels coming, toes coming, until you feel that you are more balanced enough to be able to then press your feet into the ground and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. And then just lifting and rolling the shoulders. And then raise the right hand. Turn the right hand to face the right ear. Left hand on the thigh, and this is a Tibetan triangle. You're not going to go very far. Feel that you're between two panes of glass. Chin in, and just come with your hand over to the left. Stretching out under the right arm. You can turn and look up under your right arm, if that's good for your neck, or otherwise just look straight ahead or down on the ground. To come out, press your feet into the ground, press your hand into your left thigh, and come upwards, and then lower the right hand, and lift and roll the right shoulder back. And then raise the left hand, right hand goes on the thigh, tummy in, the same. You're between two panes of glass, so you're not twisting forward, you're coming to the side more. Come to the other side, looking either up or straight ahead or down. And then press the feet down to come up, lower the left hand, and then lift and roll the shoulders. Raise the right hand again, and just circle the wrists one way. The star of the show. And then circle the hands the other way. It's very cute, isn't it? Circle the hands the other way. And then just lower the hands, the right hand. And then we're going to reverse on the other side, raising the left hand, circling one way. And then circling the other way. And then just lower the hands. Lift and roll the shoulders. And come with your feet perhaps a little bit wider than hip width apart to just come to this very familiar side to side swaying. Whether you want to make this vigorous or gentle is up to you. And then very gently start to slow the movement down and come to standstill, lift and roll the shoulders, come to feet hip width apart. Mountain pose, Tadasana Samasthiti. Lift the toes, press the feet down evenly into the ground. Lift your kneecaps and release them. Press your hands into your thighs, your waisty side, and release. And then just feel that your chin's parallel to the ground, and that there's maybe a cord or a thread just running through the centre of your body, just lifting you upwards just to balance your bones, stacking up your vertebra to be even. And then just test going from side to side again. Just swaying, just noticing if your feet are evenly balanced on the ground. Whether you favour one side, whether you're more on your heels or more on your toes. And try and just be centred. And then very gently circle the hands up, join the thumbs, and just carry on with that swaying palm tree, just balancing left with right, right with left. It's a very soothing and balancing pose for Vata, and Vata is responsible for any pain, so it's a kind of rebalancing in Ayurveda. The other one, of course, is hugging the knees into the chest, but this is a very nice, soft, gentle one. And then coming to the centre and releasing the hands down lifting and rolling the shoulders. And then we're going to come down to lying on our fronts. And just bend the elbows, hold your elbows, have them comfortably out in front of you. Your toes can be tucked under. There's nothing for you to do particularly, just look along the floor or look, yes, comfortably, your neck slightly long. Just tuck the right toes under if they're not already and extend the right heel back to stretch out the front of the right hip. And release the leg to the ground. You can relax the heel out to the side. Keep your toes tucked or untucked. And then tucking your left toes, extend your left heel back away from you. And then just release the left leg back down to the ground. And your toes can remain tucked under or the heels out to the side. Just wobble your bottom from side to side. In back recovery therapy, this is called jelly wobble or SIS. Sacroiliac stabilizer, and then just look along the floor and take a couple of breaths. And then just stretch your elbows out a little bit further and rest your head either face down or turn your head to one side, resting your forehead, your side of your head on top of your hands. Widen your knees a little bit more, and then bend the knees, soles of the feet up to the ceiling, and just very gently sway your feet from side to side. Windscreen wiper. And then come to the centre, release the legs back down, bring the knees slightly closer together. And we're going to come to child's pose. So come to slide your hands back to your chest, elbows in, press your hands down to come onto your knees. And then bring your bottom towards your heels, your knees can be wide, your big toes can be together. And your hands can be stretching out in front of you, or your hands can be palms up in Balasana, child's pose. Or you can put your hands one fist on top of the other. Rounding it back, connecting the breath and back. This time the focus is toward the back of the body. Feel that you're connecting with your kidneys, and of course the adrenal glands sit on top of the kidneys, so you're calming your nervous system. And then very gently come upwards and then come to a seated position and come to have the legs out wide. Just bounce the legs. Lengthen your body by just placing the hands to either side of you. Turn to face your right leg. Raise your hands up. You can palms together or you can hold your thumbs. Soften your elbows to make sure you're protecting your back. And slide the hands down the right leg. The toes are up towards the ceiling. You can come down a little bit with your hands, or if you're easily able to hold your right foot to either side, then you're welcome to do that. No strain. Opening the groin, stretching the inside of the legs. Slight rotation, calming for the nervous system. Back of the neck is slightly extended or lengthened. And then very gently slide the hands up. So hands to either side of you again. Circle the hands up. Turn to the left leg, tummy in, and soften the elbows to protect your back as you slide the hands down the left leg. And then to think about coming out, tummy, lower the abdomen in towards the spine a little bit to protect your back again. Sliding your hands up the back of up the front of the left leg. And then hands underneath the thighs. Soften the knees and come into Tadasana. If Sue has any nuggets of thoughts today, then please do. But if you just
what do you want to do today?
any requests,
Any requests of areas that are
any areas
Lower back?
lower back?
for you?
No, for me.
Oh goodness. Right. Well, the back area is the spine is all along the inside from the top of the toe. So if you trace it right down and then your inner step and right down there. So actually there's a little nodule if you move your thumb in, and that's for every one of your vertebrae as you go down.
Oh, okay.
So you can actually count down from the top. So the first joint of your big toe, and then you can move down and you can count all the joints. And often, if you go sort of hard enough and gentle put enough pressure on it, you can actually get to a point where it might hurt a little bit more, and that's usually the area of where you're.
So how far does the back go down? Right to the heel?
Right the way down to the heel, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can feel so it's all along, so just follow the bone there, depending on how high your instep is or anything, right the way down to the bottom. So if you do it carefully enough, you can actually, so that can sort of have back pain. You can often get to a state point, probably if it's lower back, sort of around your instep or heel, that might be a bit sore. If you're careful enough with it, you can actually, and that's actually the part that's.
And also on lower back, note to self too, but it also is linked often with stress.
Yeah, definitely is note to self as well.
No, it is, definitely. But it's a vicious circle, isn't it? Because you get that tenses you up, then your mind gets going, and then, So it obviously works on both sides. So if you get a bit more pain on the right side, it might be the central spine going out into the right side, or obviously vice versa on the left-hand side. I don't usually do this one because it's a bit more complicated to try and explain to
That's
people.
very nice.
Anyway, so. You can. So that's probably your more sort of mid-back problems rather than lower, I would say, just looking quickly. You haven't got back problem, but maybe that's just might be a slightly weaker area.
Interesting. Thank you. So just enjoy the last few seconds of massaging your feet, and we're opening the groin area as well, which is good for blood flow and lower lymphatic system.
Yes, so when you're open, as I mentioned yesterday, when you've got your legs open like this, it's quite a good idea to massage around your ankle bones inside, obviously, because that's easier than outside, and that's your reflex point for your lower lymphatic system, is all round.
I'm going to have to get you back to sort of do a more formal thing in the class.
That'd be good.
Or
just tag it onto a class or something. That'd be fine.
It's just so interesting.
Just maybe half a dozen or 10 points that are quite easy to look at for yourself, and
That'd be nice.
Okay, we'll do that one day.
Right then. And then, yes, lovely. And then just support your legs to bring them up. And I just before Madeline can see, I just wanted to introduce something. If you do seated eagle, you'll cross your, let's just say your right ankle over your left, your right wrist over, and then just hold hands and just come forward. This very simple pose is an alternative to standing eagle, and it reminded me that it subtly alters the brain chemistry and shuts off the fight or flight response, which I hadn't realised. I knew it subtly had an impact on the brain. So when you do eagle, it's very hard, certainly for me, because I'm wobbling away. I can't actually focus. I'm wobbling so much I can't focus on balancing. So you do this standing up. You wrap one leg around the other, lift one foot off, and then do it with your hands, and then get down. But the purpose, the function of the pose is to do all this, so you can achieve this. And it's brilliant for people who are older and haven't got the balance or can't, or more contained, more restricted in their movement. And then, of course, you reverse it, so you come up and have the left ankle over the right, left wrist over the right, and then hold hands, and then just come forward.
That's not hard.
Harder, is it?
Yeah, yes, I can't.
It's interesting, isn't
Yes,
it?
I'm obviously really off.
You're a bit off in the
Much.
moment.
It's much more difficult, yeah.
So again, it subtly alters the brain chemistry and is calming for the nervous system. But of course, we're only just visiting this. We're not, if you were sitting watching something, or again, you had time on your hands, it's quite I guess the longer you're in it, the more benefits. It will take a little while for the brain and body to register everything. And I just wanted to demonstrate that. And then just releasing, stretch the legs out along the ground in front of you, just bounce them again. Hands to either side of you. This is going to be terribly simple. Just bring your left hand to the outside of your right thigh, right hand behind. Just lengthen the body as you breathe in and breathing out, turn to the right. Take an in and an out breath here. Come back to the centre, touch the hands to either side to lengthen the body, and then the right hand goes to the outside of the left thigh, left hand behind. Just lengthen the body as you breathe in and breathe out. Turn, just check that the shoulder is away from the ear. Turn to look over the left shoulder. Come back, and as so many of you have got back problems, we're just going to lie on our backs, bending the knees, hugging the knees into the chest, and just rocking from side to side. So I mentioned earlier when we did swaying palm tree that was a Vata movement for pain relief. This is also the classic Vata movement for pain relief, but of course it sort of imitates the hugging fetal position and works on Vata as well. And then hug the knees into the chest. This is to your own breath pattern. Still hold the knees, let them drift away to arm's length. Hug the knees into the chest and let them drift away to arm's length. And just do that a few times to your own breath pattern. So how's the doggy training going?
Not very well.
Not very well. I see a leg.
He's doing it.
And then you can either stay doing that, Or I wanted to read you one of the poems from Carol's lovely book that she gave me. So you can either carry on doing that or bring your legs down to come to constructive rest, which is knees together, feet out to the side, or come for a couple of breaths in Shavasana while I read you the poem that I've selected for today. The door's opened, so just bear with me a second. And so this book is from a book called Thoughts That Come to Mind. And it's written by Annie Moore, and I think Carol's actually met her or knows her.
Yes.
Sounds like I say yes there.
Yes, yes.
And
All friendly features.
this is called From Healing Thoughts. This is called Seeds of Change, and I thought it was appropriate because it's quite a nice sunny day and you have a sense of spring and change, and it's a new moon and it's the 1st of February. So transition, seeds of change. Transition leads to change, whether small or big transformation will evolve. In all corners of life, change is inevitable. There is much to take hold of, plenty to let go of, as new beginnings arise from seeds planted in good faith. I awaken to discover the prospects presented significant, tormenting and forthcoming. I am conscious of a shift, sometimes moving quickly, often very slowly, depending on my mood. I acknowledge life is short. Desperate for time, the deeper I dwell, the stronger my choices. While suffering is always there, lurking in the cracks, here is my chance to welcome the energy of the seeds of change. So come to move your fingers and toes, come to, I'll stay where you are, come to gently make your way up to a seated position to finish the class, and we'll do